Strap in, boys. We're reacting to Little Joel Terry once again. This video is why women like you more when you don't care. She will get obsessed fast. So let's see what he's got to say. Maybe he'll actually say some positive things about dating and give some actual advice. It'd be shocking, but maybe. Let's give him a chance.
Explain exactly why women are far more turned on by you when you care less.
Right off the jump, they are. They absolutely are. Do not be clingy. I've told people don't kiss on the first date. Lead into the kiss. Make it seem like you're going to kiss her. Like maybe even give a nice hug or a romantic, flirty, playful hug. Not like an intense. You basically don't want to go like you don't want to go like this. You don't want to go like over the shoulders, big hug like that. You want like a lower kind of hug. Playful, build up the anticipation. Kiss on the second date. It's hard to pull off. Maybe that's a little advanced, but yeah, women are gonna care. Women are gonna be way more interested the less interested you are. Like it's tricky. It's a very delicate balance because you want to be interested, but as tiny as possible, right? Like clearly you're interested, or you wouldn't be hanging out with this chick. You wouldn't be making a first date, a second date, a third date. But you need to not care in a certain aspect, right? Absolutely, that is a good move.
And then she's gonna end up getting obsessed. If she keeps dealing with yourself consistently.
Yeah, that's the thing is she could lose interest and it could kind of backfire in that way. It can, but it most likely won't. Like 9 times out of 10 it will not. So that shouldn't be in your head that that will happen. It's possible it can, but it's unlikely. And you can kind of adjust as you go, show tiny bits more interests if it seems like she's just gonna like take the hint and be like, oh well, this guy's not interested in me, right? She's gonna want for you to be interested in her. She will. It's what happens. It is what happens.
Because there's some women as well, it's like they have high interest, but they will back up. They're going to back up because in their brains, oh my God, if I keep talking to this guy religiously, consecutively, consistently, I might get my ass hurt because I like him. But here's the thing. You can still approach women and not come off as if like you're trying so hard to get them. It's literally how you talk to her, through the words you say, through your tone, through everything else. Because when you're talking to her and she
I was gonna stop him, but I'll let him finish the point.
gets the vibe, this guy really don't care that much. Like, he would stop talking to my ass right now. He probably deals with other females, is what she's thinking. And it's the way you talk to her is what gives this telltale. And this signals high value.
I mean, that's right. That's actually bang on right. Maybe I'll agree with little Joel Terry in this video. But I feel already that it's gonna get a little bit off track. There's a strong chance here that he's gonna be obsessed with this high value, and you need to like assert this weird dominance, right? Like focusing on the value proposition of it all is really bad. It's a bad idea, right? You don't want to think like, oh, I need to show that I'm this super high value because that's just going to distract you. The main thing you need to be focusing on when you start dating is getting to know the person, looking for those red flags, determining if it's worth it or not, but also like getting to know them, building this like charm, this attraction. You need to be rizzing her up, right? So making it all about you is not the way to do that. you do need to assert your value, but a lot that usually comes like several dates in, and you basically do that by not letting her devalue you. If she starts treating you disrespectfully, if she starts hugely disrespecting your time, like if you like set a date or something or a time to meet up and she's like an hour late, an hour is way too long. It's crazy, right? And if she doesn't like say she's like a half hour late, does she message you before then and say, "Hey, I'm going to be a half hour late"? Like that's totally fine. That's her kind of respecting your time. But if it's like you're supposed to meet up at this time and an hour has passed and she's kind of like not really communicating that something's making her take long, or maybe she's like, "Oh, I'm getting ready." Like you're there at the time and you message her like, "Hey, where are you?" And she says, "Oh, I'm getting ready." That's her starting to disrespect your time, and you need to take that into account and call her out on it. Flat out call her out. Say like, "Yeah, this is supposed to be at this time." Um, and you could even bring that up at like the end of the date. Be like, "Hey, like, oh, like if we go out again." Well, maybe don't say that. Maybe just cancel a date. Literally do it. Like once it happens a second time like that, where it's like slightly disrespecting your time. Well, that's pretty big disrespect to time. If it's an hour, that's a colossal disrespect. That's like pull the plug, get out of there immediately. But if it's like a half hour and if she says like I'm getting ready, if she literally says that minimal of text, then it's like nearly there. It's like 90% there. So then if it happens again, you need to literally be like, all right, well, this is the second time in a row where you're not ready at this time. I'm not putting up with that. Like, we're not going out tonight.
Because if you're not high value, you're going to you're trying so hard to keep her around. You're trying so hard to talk to her, to make something work. She gets that vibe, she gets that feel, she gets that sense. Women can sense this stuff even greater than men. Like most. We too, we can tell kind of where women stand. I can tell if a woman's playing hard to get, but she likes me. I can tell if she really sees a lot in me, doesn't want to lose me, comes off more needy and desperate herself, which isn't the best thing either. It kind of does go both ways around. Like nobody wants to come off as too needy for the person they're trying to attract, because it shows you're not living a life you like that much. Like if you're trying so hard.
Absolutely. He's 100% right so far. 100% bang on right. Now, granted, he uploaded this after I made the video react to him, and I'm not very familiar with with his content. I've made that very clear, but he's absolutely bang on. If somebody is very needy early on, the man or the woman, that is a giant red flag. That is a guarantee that your relationship is not going to work out. And yeah, they if they are very needy, that demonstrates clearly that they have a giant hole in their life that they're trying to fill with another person, meaning that they're going to instantly put all these unreasonably high expectations on that person. They expect a potential partner to like solve all of their various problems, which isn't how you should approach relationships. That's why it's like a cliche, which, like Shay Carl says, the secret to life is are hidden. The secrets to life are hidden behind the word cliche. Now, what this specific cliche is that you need to love yourself before you can love somebody else. That means what that means is that you actually like fully know yourself and love yourself. You love who you are. You love your good qualities and you love your bad qualities. And you don't expect people to solve everything for you, to eliminate the bad qualities that you have. That's never the responsibility of somebody else. That's just the responsibility of you, is to understand your bad qualities, adapt to them, right? Because some are uncontrollable. We can't control our mental health necessarily, right? But what we can do is adapt to it and not let it affect our lives and how we treat other people and affect other people's lives, right? Bang on, little Joel.
to get somebody else. That's what it shows. So when you're talking to her when you just don't care, you can even talk to her first. You can even approach her first and say something first, but at the end of the day, by the way you approach, by the way you talk to her, she can still tell this guy really don't care that much. Yeah, he's talking to me. He might see something in me, but he still don't really care. This is gonna make her want you even more. And like I said, if she keeps dealing with you on a consistent, consecutive basis, religiously, she's gonna get attached. 100%. And that's how she goes.
That's actually great advice. And that's true. Because, yeah, just dating, like, yeah, women get incredibly attached very quickly, pretty much no matter what. That's how so many women end up being, like, madly in love with just these loser, horrible, awful guys. Um, is they just dated them. They just dated for a little bit, and like a woman typically within like a month of dating is going to be just like totally in love with you, just madly in love with you. um Now that doesn't necessarily mean she's going to treat you good. That's actually kind of a red flag, right? That's something you should be very concerned about. But it's true, it happens. It's just how they're wired. I don't know how to
If you guys
explain it.
don't believe me, I ask women questions when I talk to them over text, on the phone, especially on the phone. I'm tuning in to how she's reacting to the questions that I'm asking her.
All right, this guy's a grifter. Flat out, I can see it now. This is unlike any other video I've ever seen of his already. We're only 4 minutes in, and this is 100% different than the other videos I've seen. I've seen like 6 videos. In each one of those videos, he has like zoned out like a zombie, monotone. Like this video, he's like actually like making like normal person mannerisms. He's like looking around like he's actually thinking about what he's saying. He's actually making good points. Everything he said is a good point. This is nothing like his other videos. So it's like I said in my other video, I think he's grifting. I think he understands that there's views in just bashing women. Now I don't besmirch him, right? I make clickbait. Why can I not say this? Clickbait titles. I do the exact same thing, and kind of my video, my first video reacting to him was I just want beef. Let's go, little. That's why I have. That's why up there it says little Joel Terry. I am trying to be like what's the term where you're trying to cause conflict, um, like abrasive. I'm trying to. I want him to see this. I want him to bash me. I want to leech views, but I actually want to make good points and have like a real, honest conversation. Which it's so bizarre to see this guy doing, considering the other 6 videos he's doing like nothing like that. Like if you watched my videos, the only time I'm really, truly, completely, outright fake and being dishonest and unlike myself, like I want to actually do more of that like acting kind of content where I'm just completely full of crap, which I wasn't full of crap in my other video reacting to this guy, but my video where I claimed that the streamer Tectone from OTK is the same as the YouTuber Deluxe 4 from the crew. I just claim that they're literally the same guy because Deluxe 4 has never shown his face, just to make a goofy video, right? Just to make a dumb video where I'm just lying and trying to like not laugh my ass off. Um, but yeah, I like this video so far. This is some good advice because that's exactly what you need to be doing on these dates. What a lot of guys need to understand is they need to like be paying attention to how the woman is responding, because that's critical. The information, nothing is more important than that. You need to be getting to know this person, and you need to be appropriately responding to how they are responding to you.
I would say things like, we need
Inflammatory. That's what I was trying to be, inflammatory. But it's genuinely how I feel, right? And I even said it in that video that it's possible this guy's just grifting, and that's what he's doing, right? Like when in all these other videos where it's just bashing women, that's what he's doing. Is he's grifting. He knows from the success of the Fresh and Fit podcast, the whatever podcast, that simply bashing women, there's tons of views there.
need space.
And he's expressing that he understands that. What he's expressing here is that he fully understands what dating is like and what to do in dating, right? So when he's grifting, you know it's grifting because he understands that what he's saying in those videos is complete BS.
Us guys, we need space. Because we all know women just love attention. We all know this. They love attention. It's not.
Now it seems people really dislike this idea of this like negging of not giving women that attention that they very much seek, right? But it's not our obligation. If I'm just starting to date you, it's not my obligation to give you all the attention in the world that you seek. For some reason, people think it's like predatory to play those kind of mind games, but they somehow ignore that women in dating are also playing tons of mind games. So it's actually a good thing. Like I preach it on this channel that doing exactly that, what he's describing doing, not giving her the attention that she desperately seeks, is she will become attracted to you. And that's important. That's specifically the most important thing, because what you're doing and what a lot of like incel guys fail to do is make themselves attractive to women. And that right there, not giving them attention, is what is going to make you attractive to women. You need to do it. It is important that you do that amongst many other things.
Not a new concept here. Women love attention. Love it.
And I don't blame this guy for grifting at all, right? It's smart. He's got a successful channel, and it will probably continue to be successful on that grift. I just can't, right? Me personally, I cannot do that. I cannot pretend to hold opinions that I don't hold and to like completely overlook certain elements of reality. I don't have it in me to do that, right? Or not in like consistent doses. I was able to do it in my video about Tectone and the Deluxe 4, but I can't do that like in a video where I'm trying to give like an honest perspective, right? Like go watch my video on Tectone and you can kind of tell that I'm pushing out things, that I'm saying things, but I'm really saying nothing. Like I'm intentionally making it as stupid as possible. I'm going out of my way to not make any points and to allude to evidence that doesn't exist. I keep talking about there's proof, there's this, there's that, but I never provide that proof.
While we prefer to kind of do our own thing a lot, the women love attention. They love to feel desired and feel beautiful through the lens of a man.
Now, sorry for the bad pause, but grifting is complicated, right? One thing that I've seen on other videos, I'm going to address it. I've seen it on other videos where people are like, oh, this is such lazy content. You're just reacting to other people's content. You're leeching off other people's content. That's completely ridiculous because everything I've ever reacted to, I've paused, I've talked about, I've analyzed. Yeah, I do it live. I do it in one take. But that's kind of the best way to make a reaction. Like I feel like what grifting is these comedy reactors where they make this like highly edited ridiculousness, and they make like one or two of the same boring jokes in every one of their reaction videos and never really give their honest opinion on anything, right? Like Pokimane. I've talked about her on this channel. She never gives her honest opinion of on anything because she's like the face of Twitch. She's this very high up person for the website Twitch, the streaming service or whatever you want to call it, streaming site. So she can't put out her opinion. It would be a very bad PR move for her to risk having too controversial of an opinion. So you will never get her honest opinion on anything that could potentially be the slightest bit controversial. You will never see that because it would be too much of a brand risk. To me, that's grifting because you're never putting your true self out there. You're pretending that you are, but you're doing everything you can to not give those opinions, which I think the complete opposite of that is like Shay Carl Butler, who he said all he has over the years said all kinds of controversial things. I mean, and his genuine opinion has changed throughout his life, and he's talked about it in detail.
So when I ask them questions like, or whenever I tell them things like, we need space, like, yeah, we'll talk to you, but we need space. We can't talk to you for 6 to 12 hours a day. It's just not going to happen. It becomes draining. We can do it, like, we can talk to them for a lot of hours, like, in a single day. Out of nowhere, like, every now and then on a very short basis. Could you imagine doing that type of shit, bro, every day? It ain't possible. It's going to drain the ever living hell out of you. Women don't care.
Oh, ad for Dell? Come on. I'm not going to buy a Dell. Get out of here.
They don't care. They'll drain themselves because they like talking to you so much. They're like, we can't do that. So when you tell them things like, we need our space, and the way she thinks is how she would think if she was to need space. Women don't.
Or actually, I take that back. I will buy a Dell. Anyone watching, buy a Dell. Dell computer, awesome computer. There's a reason that they're in every school, everywhere.
Don't need space. Maybe sometimes they do. Maybe sometimes they do in certain situations, but majority of women want attention, bro. They live for it. Maybe the more masculine type of women actually don't. But feminine women want attention more than masculine women want it.
I mean, maybe, yeah. I don't know what. Probably. I don't know what qualifies as masculine women, like maybe women who go to the gym and do sports. So yeah, because they understand they want their free time to do those activities. If that's
So
what he means.
when you ask them questions like, or when you tell them things like, I need space, like, I can't talk to you this much. Like, I can't do it. Like, you don't even like guys who are like simping for you, trying to talk to you more than you want to talk to them and stuff like this.
Again, he's bang on, right? There are women who will do that. They will just cling on and they want to spend all day, every day with you. And he's right. They don't like the guys who are like simping over them. It's like they want to morph you. Women often want to morph men into guys that they aren't attracted to. And that's a really bad thing. And yeah, the better you are at communicating that to them, the better off you'll be because they will do that. Think about the cliche of like the nagging wife. And you'll see it. You'll see it in the real life. Where a woman is just nagging a guy, just ripping him apart, just trying to tear apart this guy's soul, trying to turn this guy into just a shell of himself, into somebody who doesn't make decisions for himself, who's just this slave to her. And then she becomes less and less attracted to him as he meets her needs of that. He must think like, oh, this is what she wants. Maybe I should do that. Maybe it's good that I do that. And I just do whatever she says and let her boss me around and treat me like dirt. And then they do that. And then the woman becomes completely unattracted to them. Don't let that happen to you. Don't let that happen to your friends, your family. Do not let that happen to anyone. Point that out to people. Now, most men, you ever talk to married men? Basically, they like it's another cliche where it's like, how do you get your marriage to work? Well, I just say yes, dear, right? Like it's this cliche thing where these men who are married in these really long-term successful relationships, they're actually like miserable. First of all, they like never have sex. These are terrible, terrible relationships, and they just concede. They just say like, "All right, I'm giving you what you want. All right, wife, you just get I'm okay. Like you get to make the decisions. You get to do this and that." And they just learn to exist within that framework, which is fine if you want this really long-term, incredibly boring relationship. Not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing. There are tons of people who want that, but if you want like an actual like passionate, fun relationship, if you're like below the age of like 40, absolutely you should be completely resistant to that because it's awful. Really, it's awful at any age, but it's especially if you're like young and vibrant and have options. Being that in that relationship where someone's trying to morph you into something that they don't even actually want. Oh my god. And it's fairly common. I could put people on blast and throw out multiple examples of that.
You know what they say? Yeah, you're right. Yes, I know I'm right. This ain't nothing new either, but I'm just saying, this goes to show women like guys more who care a lot less. Because it screams high value. It screams you're not needy. It screams you have shit going on. You're living in your own world, doing your own shit, focused, determined. These are attraction triggers. If you're roaming around your house, bro, just doing things, getting things done, paying zero attention to your cat if you have a cat. I don't have a damn cat, never will. I don't care who I'm with. They're not getting a cat in my house either. It ain't gonna happen.
I'm the same way. That will never happen.
But the cat wants attention. But if you go up to the cat first and you try to pet the cat and get around the cat's just gone. The cat's just all over the place. Because you're suffocating the cat. You want the cat more than the cat wants you. You need to make sure the cat wants you more.
Like, what is happening? What am I seeing? Like, that is a great example.
And this should happen naturally. You should never be overly trying to get a woman. You can even ask her out. You can even tell her to come over. You can even ask to talk to her first. That don't matter that much. It's the way you talk to her while you're actually talking to her. It's the way you can end the call. It's the way you can hit her back up again.
All right, well, I think it's a little complex in that way. Because you can, in the way that you ask them to hang out or go on a date or whatever, you can space that out a little bit. You can, in that way, give them less attention, then give them like your your mostly undivided attention when you're with them. I mean, yes, you would also be expressing that kind of lack of interest that he's referring to a little bit, but mostly in the sense that you're not like saying like, "Oh yeah, like we should do this and this sometime. Let's do this." If you by not like planning, the planning, which I think goes directly hand in hand, like that has everything to do with the asking out and asking to hang out. It's the planning thing. Um that you can give them less attention and then give them more attention when you're actually spending time together. It's a it's a tricky balance.
It's all these types of things. It's the way you do it. Because if you come off like in a desperate type of vibe, like I really want to talk to you, and she can just sense your energy is just like kind of on her too much, rather than yeah, I'll talk to you if you want to talk to you right now or whatever's going on. Like we could talk, I guess, but it don't really matter. Like that type of energy turns her on more. It makes her like you more because it shows her if he don't talk to me right now, he could care less.
And never tell a woman your body count. Never, right? Like I say, you need to be building mystery, and there's no good number you can ever give for a body count, right? If it's too low, then she's going to think, oh, well, those women that you've hooked up with, they're like really important in your mind. Whereas if it's too high, then it's like also kind of a thing where she's like, oh, well, I have all of these more women to worry about, right? It's either she has to specifically worry about this small number that you've hooked up with, or she needs to specifically worry about a wider net of people that you've hooked up with. Never give a number.
Caramel in a Reese's? Okay, I have a few questions. Oh, cool.
That sounds
clears it up.
mediocre,
Thanks.
but I will buy
The more we
anything from Will Arnett. And I mean anything.
Like it's the way it is, guys. It's not about you approaching her. It's not about you hitting her up first. It's how you do the damn thing. If you text her, can we please talk? Please, please, please. Can we talk tonight? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And maybe not that urgent, but if you give off that energy at all, I just ate a meal, so I'm like half puking right now. If you give that energy at all, what do you think's gonna happen? She might even still do it. She might even still do it, but it's not that interesting to her. You're just too much. You're coming off too strong. It's not even attractive when women are coming on too strong, bro. It ain't even attractive when they want to do it, but if they have the vibe more so, yeah, we can, I guess. But it's like they could care less, but you're still going to make the call happen. Or hang out happen, or whatever it might be.
So I'll use one example. So I dated this woman, and she wanted me to come over all the time, hang out all the time, which was fine, right? Like, but some of the times she just wanted to like sleep, like she just wanted to like nap together, and or sometimes she would feel like napping and I wouldn't, so she would just like want me to be there while she naps. Pretty clingy, a little bit too much for sure. But yeah, I'm still agreeing with everything he's saying.
It's just more intriguing. It's more attractive. And this is exactly why women like guys who care less. Women like guys who are more focused in day-to-day life. Some women are also going to get insecure about it, but they're still more attracted to you because they're going to think, oh my God, if he's not talking to me, he must be talking to somebody else or somebody's else or what.
Exactly. That's exactly it. That is exactly why women are more attracted to getting less attention, because they think, oh, well, if he's not talking to me, then he's talking to somebody else. If he's not like dying to hang out with me, then who is he hanging out with? Why is he okay? Why doesn't he want me there like every day? Why is he not like tripping over himself to spend every day with me? Because she's got like tons of simps, right? Maybe not tons, but she's gonna have guys who are simping for her really hard, who are saying they want to spend every day with her, and they're gonna like they want to make out with her butthole, like all kinds of crazy stuff. That they're just like wildly obsessed with her, and that they would like move mountains to be with her, and all this kind of stuff. So when you're just not giving her that exact energy, she's gonna want at least a little bit more, right? And she's gonna think like, oh, if he's not spending time with me, he's spending time with some other woman. And that's gonna instantly make you more attractive to her, because she's gonna want to Like women are like insanely competitive with each other. That's why like fashion and makeup are as huge of industries as they are. Is because women want to outcompete each other. They're like men are so much less competitive than women are. Like women are obsessed with competing with each other. That's why they care about like the wealth and like status of a guy. Because we like in today's society, we have so much access to food. We can like synthesize food. We can make food out of just chemicals. What you need to live is so like minimal. Obviously, like children are expensive and stuff, but really, you can get there's so much like government programs and stuff for kids and families. You could get by with very, very little and lead a happy life. So actually like being a provider, you don't need that much money ultimately, truly, to like provide. So a lot of women when they care about like money and when they care about money, it ultimately is because they care about status. They want to have something over other women. They want to be more attractive than other women and have more status than other women. They want to outcompete other women. So yeah, it only makes sense that men would use that to their advantage. And this is how you do it. You so you can kind of lean in a little bit. You don't want to do it too far, but you do want to lean into the possibility that you could be hanging out with other women. Now, don't say you're hanging out with other women. Don't say you're doing something that would only make sense for you to be doing with other women. But you could say, oh, I'm doing this, and leave out who you're doing it with, right? Make it seem like maybe you and your buddy just went somewhere that, or you and your family went somewhere where it's like, well, maybe he could go there with a woman. Maybe he's there with a woman. You don't need to say, I'm here with my family. I'm here with my buddies. You can make it seem like, and even if you're somewhere with your buddies, you could be there with a woman and your buddies, right? So leave things a little open-ended to build mystery and to make her think maybe he's got some other woman.
Whatever.
Just don't be like,
And that's because that's how they think. Because if they weren't talking
just don't make it seem like that's what you're doing. Make it seem like that's what you could be doing.
to you, they would talk to somebody else. So they think you're going to do the same thing through her lens. They don't. A lot of them don't understand that we think a lot different. Like, a lot of them don't understand that, bro. We think a hell of a lot different. It's very, very different. We don't really want to talk that much. If we could talk once a week most of the time to someone we're actually with, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Like, the reason why I say that is because you're going to get to the point where you really don't want to talk to the person you're with that much. Even your best friends, bro, you don't want to talk to them every day. You don't want to hang out with them every day. You don't want to see them every day. It's the same thing. No one on earth is that damn special. And we have a lot of shit to do as individual human beings. I know I do.
To what he said there, right? So there are a few women that I know that are nearly perfect, right? Just phenomenal, smart, we have stuff in common. They're literally funny and interesting, right? And just like honest, hardworking, loyal people. People that I say are just the highest value women possible. Just incredible people. They treat people good. They're good people. Like they're honest. They care about others. Interesting, smart, all of it. Total package. Perfect. I can think of 3 of them. Not going to name them, but I can think of them. And I would love to be in a relationship with any of these 3 women. I would, oh my God. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Would be over the moon. But even so, I wouldn't want to spend all day with them every day. I'd probably, if I would like to see them every day, but not spend every day together. Like, I still have friends and family and like other personal relationships that are very important to me, and like all kinds of stuff that I want to do. And some of that stuff I want to do with maybe a friend or entirely by myself. Not everything's like a group activity, and it's it's kind of toxic and detrimental that people spend all of their time together. You need a break. You absolutely need a break, and to be your own person.
We don't have time to be doing that kind of shit all the time. Because if we do that shit all the time, it drains your energy so you can't even perform at things you need to perform on. There's certain things sometimes I do, and it was too much, and the next day it affects my energy some. That's when you know you have to rest a little bit more, you have to tone it down a little bit more so you can regroup and feel your greatest energy again. That's how it goes. Sometimes we do extend too much energy out of ourselves. And the next day we don't feel the same. Sometimes you got to catch that second wind. It's like, damn, I'm tired. But if you can get through that, you can hit that second wind, and it's like you got this life again.
I lost someone.
I'll probably check out you various Walking Dead spin-offs, but it's a lot, okay? It's a lot.
So understanding energy is important as well. And let me tell you something. Women are terrible at that. They'll drain themselves and they'll just be completely gone on energy just because they want attention so much from a guy or guys they like. And I'm going to do a whole other video on something else kind of related to that. Not what I just said, but related to that. And it's going to make a good video topic. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah, I went on a road trip with one of my exes once, and it was a long road trip. It was like 9 hours away, and yeah, it was too much, right? Because we literally drove for 9 hours. Then we were in the same place, right? Like hanging out together for like 2 days, and then 9 hour drive back. On that 9 hour drive back, we like broke up, right? I'll tell a story that probably makes me look bad. So, it was mostly due to her, right? Like it was just too much on her to be in that kind of like early relationship mode where she like wants everything to go well and she wants to give a good impression, and there's so much pressure, and I think she just kind of crumbled at a certain point. And it was just too much, and she should have realized it was too much. I kind of told her, like, maybe this is a bit too much for us to take on. We barely know each other. We're going to be stuck in a vehicle with each other. And she's like, oh no, it will be fun. I'll help you out while we're on the road. You might know what I'm talking about, but we it just became too much, and we broke up literally like as we're driving back, like maybe an hour into it. I'm like, look, you gotta like calm down. You're treating me pretty badly here. Like, you can't be talking to me like this. Unacceptable. And so she starts arguing with me and going off. So I'm like, all right, well then we can like break up with each other. This will be a fun another like 8 hours. Let's not talk to each other. So then we're not talking to each other. She occasionally is like saying something. It's like she's trying to start an argument again. But I'm just not engaging. I'm like, nope, we're not talking to each other. So then we eventually go to this rest stop. And I go to the washroom. And then I'm coming out of the washroom at this rest stop. And this tall, like, Asian chick goes by. And she's, like, got tight pants on. And I kind of do a spin move. Like, I fully, like, do an obnoxious, like, turnaround. And not really paying attention. I think like my ex at the time is just still in my vehicle. I turn back around. Boom, my ex is right there looking at me. Like she's like my ex is like 10 feet away from me. Notices that I fully looked around. Um so then we argued quite a bit more. Then she was like snapping on me. Rightfully so, but I'm like, "Hey, we just broke up." Like what that's not what I was looking at. I turned back because this other woman had like a crazy, like she was pulling something out of her purse. I wanted to see what she was pulling out of her purse. Um, you know, it was, it re-sparked the argument. But anyway, so we argue for a bit, another like hour. But then we end up joking and we end up getting back together. By the time we get to like the next rest stop a few hours later. But yeah, that was a situation. Women they take on these like huge strains, pressure situations like that in relationships without really thinking how it might go. Um, and yeah, it's not going to go well, right? And I mean, maybe I was in the wrong for doing that, but I mean, she was entirely why we broke up that day. So I feel like I'm not fully in the wrong. I didn't create the situation that made that situation possible.
You don't want to miss it. But yes. Even me today, my energy's not the best. I'm catching a second wind here shortly. I just ate a meal, so sometimes when you eat a meal, it kind of like gets.
Now, this is what I mean about this guy. This is by far the greatest video I've ever seen this guy too. He actually has energy. He's actually talking about how like this meal that he ate is affecting him. He's actually giving like a tiny bit of his personality and like talking about things outside of the context of the video he's creating. And this video he's creating where he's talking about dating, he's actually demonstrating a deep understanding of it. He's actually saying intelligent things. It is very unlike the other videos of him that I've seen. So it's wild. It's genuinely wild.
Gets you a little bit tired.
Like he's even talking like way differently than he normally does. And he's saying here that he's like tired, but he's catching a second wind. He seems like way more tired in the majority of the videos he creates. And I think it's just because he doesn't really care when he's talking about the negativity stuff, the negative stuff and the kind of blaming women for a lot of things. I feel like he doesn't genuinely believe it to a certain extent, and that's why he has no energy in those videos. It's because emotionally he just doesn't buy it. He doesn't actually care about that. Here he seems to care about the positive, and that's why he's more talkative. He's making good points.
But then all of a sudden the energy from the meal like kicks in, and you don't feel sleepy from it. It just kind of gets you up now, and that's kind of what I'm in the middle of right now. I don't normally eat a meal before I do a video, but I just did. The odd time I'll do it, like probably less than once a month. That's just the timing of tonight, and yeah, it can drain you and make you a little bit sleepier at first, and then all of a sudden, whoo, you just hit that second wind. And it's gonna happen shortly. But yeah, everything what I'm saying right now is facts, bro, about this topic. Like, women don't like neediness, bro. We don't like neediness. Nobody likes neediness. Nobody likes someone who's just so fixated on that person. Oh, we need to hang out tonight. We need to talk tonight. No. Get rid.
And I tell this to a lot of I express this in a lot of videos, is that a lot of these guys, they fall into the same kind of demented mindset that a lot of women have, where they think real life dating is like what they see in movies and TV shows. It's nothing like that. You don't want, and ultimately it's not what you would even want out of a relationship. And I tell guys they need to start considering what they actually want out of a relationship, what their end goal truly is, what kind of relationship they would like to have throughout each and every step of the process, right? Because you don't want this thing where you're spending each and every day together. That's very volatile. That's toxic. That's not what's good for you. That's not what you should even want. Nobody actually wants that who's given this any kind of thought. Like, that's not how relationships work. You need to think about how relationships work and what you're actually going to like do in them, how they're going to be, how they're going to function, why it would be bad to spend all your time together, especially early on. Why maybe it's actually better to slowly get to know each other, and maybe you only see each other once a week for the first like few months of dating. That's like kind of normal, right?
Rid of that energy completely. You should have a backup plan for a backup plan for a backup plan for a backup plan. There should always be something you can do that's going to be productive or fun or something. Like, even if I make a plan with a female, I have a backup plan all the time. So if she flakes, it literally does not matter at all. I'm not even going to ask her why she flaked. Nothing. I'm going to pretend like it don't even matter. That's what I'm.
Yeah, I do the same thing. And flaky women, take note, flaky women. We don't take you seriously. We will not take you seriously. We absolutely will not. We might go on more dates with you. We might reschedule and go on dates with you, but we probably don't have the intention of dating you long term. So if your plan is to be flaky, that is the outcome you should expect.
I'm gonna do, because most of the time, bro, if a female flakes, a lot of the time it was a test. A lot of the time it was a test. And if you're so upset that it fell through, it just shows you had nothing else going on. You couldn't think of anything else to do. You were so fixated on that. You were so desperate for that hangout with that person. That's not a good look. The only time I'd even be slightly upset is if I literally left my house, drove a fairly far distance, and they just didn't show up where they were supposed to. That's when it would upset me to a degree. 'Cause that's too much.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. I don't know.
What
I
if
don't know
you
what
didn't
to
leave
add.
your house or something like that, and your time didn't get completely wasted? You could do something else quite easily. It's not a big deal. But in other cases, if you literally leave your house, you get dressed up, you're showered, you're groomed, everything else, you spent money to leave, whatever else, like, it's going to piss you off a little bit because a lot of your day and time got wasted, and money. So in that case, it'd be worse. But yes, women are far more attracted to guys who care a lot less. Your life is already good. You're already having fun. You're already having a good time. It doesn't matter if you talk to her or not. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're talking to somebody else.
Now, you need to also just have other plans, right? Like, it's fine what he's saying there to treat it like, oh, you could just go do something else, but you also need to have something else to be able to do. And maybe that's stay in, maybe that's do nothing, maybe that's watch some TV show or movie or play a video game, whatever it is that you do, that's fine. But have something else to do, and maybe even have like a say, oh well, I ended up just doing this other thing that day. Like, I just hung out with a buddy, I got this thing done. Make it sound like we're never even locked into hanging out that day. So you just went and had some fun some other way. And then she'll think like, oh wow, well I should have hung out with him. because what he did sounded super fun. Like that sounds like way better than what she ended up actually doing. But again, if she were to even do this 2 times, like he's saying it's a test, and it is, but even that initial test is her playing games. And if there's any kind of ongoing games, then you need to 100% not take this woman seriously and do not date her long term. Absolutely not. Never.
which is a lot of the time is what they think, which turns them on too. Because it just showed no matter what move you make here, no matter if you do talk to somebody else, if you do have something else going on, no matter what it is, that's a turn on her. Because it shows high value. It shows you're not so fixated and trying so hard to make one thing happen with one person. That's all you have. It's all you're going to do. It's all you think about. No. You have other shit. There's other people.
Now, in this guy's other videos, like I stated, he shows so much like focused intensity that I assumed he was nothing like what he's describing here. So this is genuinely shocking to me.
People in the woodworks. There's lots of things going on. It also shows you're a fun person. You can do things. You have hobbies. You have interests. You have other people on the go. You're not so fixated just on that single person.
Now maybe he's not grifting. Maybe he just genuinely is incredibly passionate about somebody in his life, or just maybe men in general, all the things that they go through, all the struggles that they go through. Because what he's displaying here is a genuine deep understanding of dating that is I'm blown away. But maybe he's genuine in the sense that he hates that other men go through this. Maybe he's got like a brother who he sees go through these things, and it genuinely like pisses him off. So it's possible that that's what's going on here, because this is in such huge contrast to his other videos.
So hard. Like, that's never good. For women or men. And you can make plans.
Like, his other videos make it come across as though he's someone who never has any fun at all, and that he's like hyper focused on just bashing women and blaming them for everything, which is like the least. Imagine a woman watches those other videos where he's super intensely bashing women, blaming them for every problem in modern society and dating and everything, and saying that they're like morons for not dating guys like him. I can't think of much things that a woman would be less attracted to and find less fun than being with someone like that. So him bringing up the point that you need to come across as somebody who has fun, who does fun things, who's a fun person to be around, it's like, it's kind of blowing my mind here, because I don't know why in so many videos, other than to get those kind of views from these really like desperate men who are looking for someone to look up to
And get together. And in this case, if you make plans and get together, or even talk to them on the phone, or whatever it might be, it's all going to come down to your energy on that call, on that hangout, is what's going to determine if she's going to be more turned on or more turned off by yourself.
I hope that that Joel Terry here, he should tell women that he dates, or any woman that he's ever been friends with, that these videos that he makes, these other ones where he's like creepy and obsessed, like just these weird incel videos that he makes, he should flat out tell them like, yeah, I'm grifting, I'm leeching up these like desperate red pill content consumers who don't give any thought to dating. They just blame women, say it's impossible to meet women anywhere. Those like incels, like he's just farming the incels. If he he should do that. Like he should go out of his way to do that because he risks when dating a woman ever that she stumbles upon that he does these videos. So he needs to clarify like, hey, I don't actually believe what's in the majority of these videos. I am just farming the incels for views. Because really, who has more time on their hands, more free time to just burn on viewing content than incels?
Self. Like, I think people who need therapy, people who need healing, people who need all those types of things are more hard up to make a plan happen, and it has to happen, and said we were gonna do this, and it don't even matter, because you had other shit going on. You had a backup plan. You have things to do. Your life is good. Regardless of what happens, your life is good. Like, that is where you want to be. That screams and roars high value in a man or a woman. If you get some woman, bro, who's literally calling you on demand, it's like she feels the need to call your phone every day. Oh, man. That ain't gonna last long whatsoever. Like, that's gonna come crashing down that situation. It's gonna drain you. That's a woman who's going to drain your energy. She has nothing better to do. Like, bro, do you think if she was like hitting the gym every day and doing productive things, she would even have the energy to want to do that every day? No.
Yeah. Yeah, he's right. You don't want these like desperate clinging women.
Every day? No. Absolutely not. You want people in.
That's why why it annoys me when guys say, "Oh, it's impossible to meet women," and all this stuff about women in general. It's like you're generalizing women as though they're not this like incredibly diverse group of people. Like I can't think of another way that you could describe a group of people that is as diverse as like half of the human population, right? If you just cut the human population in half, then yeah, there's going to be a ton of diversity there. Women are very diverse, so are men. So there's so much complexity to everyone. So stop lumping women all together, because that isn't going to do you any good. There's different types of women. There's different types of people. You need to like understand that and analyze that. Think about what type of woman you want to be with. Stop just saying like women are bad. Everything's women's fault. No, that's not the case. There's total like
in your life who are healthy, who do things, who can exercise, who knows how to eat right, who doesn't have bad habits. Those are the types of people you want in your circle.
I'll use an example, right? I say there's different types of women. What different types are there? I'll just talk about some of my exes. Not all of them, but some of them. One was a farm girl. Parents were farmers, farming community. She was a wild one, you know? But had very like strong values, I guess. These like farmer small town values. She loved to volunteer. Did tons of volunteer work. You know? She's into all these like weird like old people hobbies, cuz most of the people in her community are like old people. So she I won't get specific, but she's into a bunch of stuff that you would expect like an 80-year-old woman to be into. But, you know, she would do anything. She would do anything for me. Realistically, like if I needed something from her, needed a favor for whatever reason, I haven't even talked to her in like years at this point, but if I needed help and I reached out to her, she would help in any way that she could. I've got other exes where they wouldn't help. I've got exes who are, you know, city folks who, who, you know, I don't know how to describe it. I guess it's hard to get to like leave out the detail that I want to leave out. But just think about the women you know in your life, and they're just so different from each other. And it's that's why I see it as like kind of a hatred towards women, because you're refusing to see them as people, and people are complex, and there's so many differences. They're not some weird monolith where it's just, oh, I just need any woman. It's just such lunacy of these incels where it's like, oh, I just need a woman, a woman, a woman. It's like, no, women are like complex. You should want a specific person, first of all, not just even a type of woman. Like, it's fine to have a type, but even types of women, like, you should be able to, in your head, reduce it down to what type of woman you have. But you should also have like several specific examples of exact women that you would like to be with. Now, I'm not saying be obsessed or have like one nightists, they call it, but have some women. You should be able to name like 5 women right now that you want to be in a relationship with, right? And there should be you should be able to make a list of like 10 reasons in your head real quick as to exactly why, right? I mentioned a top 3 earlier. I could come up with a list within seconds of like 10 qualities that are exactly why, right? Now, they would be way too specific. I won't get into them, but I think about the conversations that I've had with these women, conversations I've had about these women with other people, right? Because usually when someone's like a really good person, which is a thing that I care about, they other people are going to notice it. They're going to pick up on it, and they're going to say, "Oh, like that person is actually a really good person." And yeah, right? Like, and that's just like one trait. Usually people have other traits like, "Oh, that person's really smart." And it's like, "Yeah, I like to talk to that person about this thing and this thing and this thing." We have great conversations, right? And there's like a reason for the attraction on both sides.
It shows self love. It shows a greater sense of self and identity in one's self. That is
I'll use the number 1 and number 2 example. Let's cut out top 3, top 2. Top 2 women that I would most like to be in a relationship with. They both find me funny and smart and interesting, right? So I know for a fact that if either one of them were to be in a relationship with me, that relationship, not only on my part but also on their part, would be so full of like passion and genuine like emotion and positivity and compatibility. These things are critically important. Now, maybe I probably won't end up with either of them. One of them is literally married. The other one is probably engaged. Um, sometimes you kind of fall out of touch with people. The one person in particular I haven't even like seen in like 5 years or so. No idea what she's up to. Don't really care what she's up to. But I can think of like 100 reasons, maybe not 100, but I'm exaggerating. I can think of many reasons as to why I would incredibly enjoy being with her, why we would make a good couple long term, and why she would genuinely enjoy being with me, and why that would also be a long term thing, right? Because there's times, most relationships you'll ever be in, there is times where you're attracted, where there's that attraction, that passion, and times there isn't. And sometimes you're in relationships where there is zero passion on either side, right? And that's not real common. That usually only happens when, say, maybe there's like you're just hooking up with somebody and there's an unintended pregnancy or something where there's just no passion whatsoever. But typically in most relationships there's going to be like an attraction, and it's kind of going to go up and down on both sides. And sometimes it starts high and just goes low and just tanks, it disappears. That person, you start to uncover who that person really is. Or maybe they just genuinely change or something, or maybe the situation changes. Maybe suddenly it was, you were living in the same place. One person goes to college or moves for work, or, you know, I don't know, goes to prison or something. Who knows? But for some reason, it becomes this long distance thing. And that your ability to like see a future with them is just gone, right? Like there's just instantly this huge distance, and maybe what was fun and easy is no longer fun and easy, and that attraction just disappears, right? It's possible, and it happens on a regular basis. I can tell you that I've been in relationships. I remember one, her and I, it started out with like tons of passion, right? But then I kind of could tell she was like talking to other guys and being a little shady. So instantly my attraction to her plummeted. It like hit the floor. I was just like, ew, this is gross. And it hit the floor. And it kind of remained there. But then foolishly, I kind of like she kind of put in a lot of effort to make it seem like that was no longer the case, right? Like she put in a ton of effort, like literally months of effort to demonstrate to me that that wasn't the case. And I knew skeptically, right? Like it it had bottomed out, but then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll give this a shot. Maybe my feeling is a little off here. Maybe I should give this a chance. And I did. Ended up that feeling was like a wise feeling because she ended up cheating on me eventually. But um and that what I want to focus on there is my level of attraction. So it started super high, plummeted to the floor, and then slowly crept up and up and up. Not, it never got back to where it initially started. It was always kind of like mid level, and then it kind of like slowly waned again. But if she had genuinely changed, like if my initial when it hit the floor, if that was genuinely wrong, if that was me being like judgmental or like overlooking certain things or just not knowing that much about her, and I was actually like wrong, and I could have seen it going back up to where it started and be and even higher than that. Now that was a foolish idea in my mind. Like I knew it was a long shot, but just because it was a long shot doesn't mean it's necessarily impossible.
Is what's attractive. When you're trying to cling on to someone else, you need their time, you need their attention, you need their energy. Like you need it. That ain't cute. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a man, a woman. I don't care what it is. That shit ain't sexy at all. At all, at all. And that proves everything of what I'm saying in this video is the truth. Women can act like they want your time and attention all the time. Women say things all the time. And if you were actually to do what they're saying, it would turn them off completely. They would gain the upper hand and the value in this situation because now you're listening to her. You're doing what she wants you to do.
All right, we're going to stop there. There's another couple minutes of this video. Watch the rest of his video if you want to see the rest. But yeah, he's made nothing but good points. He's demonstrated a clear understanding of dating. And yeah, things to look out for, to consider what you want going into a relationship, making it clear to her that if she wants to change you into this like simpering buffoon, that express to her that's not what she wants. That's something that I tell people is very important, is you need to, if you're being treated badly in a relationship, you need to tell the other person that. And if they don't change that, you need to leave that relationship immediately, right? The only time you should ever consider not leaving that relationship immediately is if you like have a kid together or something like that, or there's something else at play. But even then, even if you have a kid together, you should probably still be leaving that relationship, or at least setting a different standard, right? Being like, look, we have a kid together. you're treating me really badly. That needs to change, right? Like, we can exist in a fake relationship where we don't have any feelings for each other. Clearly, like, you're demonstrating that some weird hatred towards me. We can fake it for the kid's sake. Maybe that's what you want to do. Like, that's a thing that a lot of people do. Like, millions and millions of people have done. Where they're just like, all right, well, for the kid, we'll fake it, you know. But that gets very tricky, and that's a giant commitment. You're committing yourself to existing, even if it's just on the surface level. You're still committing yourself to exist in a fake relationship, but still a toxic thing. But I would hope that parents, any kind of good parent, would at least pretend that they would stop the negativity, the toxicity, and just in their fake relationship allow the both parties to exist outside of that fake relationship and stop being toxic and negative and hateful. But even when people do that, they stay together for the kids. It's usually there's still that element of like toxic negativity, that hate from, one of the people involved. But, people just suck and they don't do what's best for children, which just sucks, but kind of irrelevant. But yeah, this is very different from Joel Terry's other videos. I would, I might react to his other video that sounded like it had at least an interesting title, because this was surprising. Like, he's never this lucid and just making points. From what I've seen, this is the seventh video of his that I've watched. Way better than the others. I like it. I like it quite a bit. I'm gonna hit like on this video. Have a good one. See ya.